Hey, welcome to the channel. It's all about the blues harmonicas. If you haven't already, thumbs up and subscribe. A few tips today for everyone, whether you're people starting out, we've been playing a long time, I'm sure you'll get something out of this. I hope. Alright, at the start there, playing over blues, it's not quite traditional sense of the blues, it's slightly different. And I talk about this a lot on this particular one, from the 5 chord, it does shoot up for a bar, up into a half step, up into 10th and back down. The point is that, playing in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th positions, which is what people starting out tend to do, you can play just basic blues, but obviously people want to expand, don't they? You don't want to be staying in one little box of white notes on a piano playing a D Dorian minor up and down some white keys for the rest of your life, do you? When you've got a whole range. And nowadays, as you know, we can play in all keys on the harmonica. For blues, not really necessary to do that, but you need to be able to get facility, because there will be times when you want to play flat 9 plus 9s and 6 and 3rds and flat and 3rds and flat 9, also in one position, just depending on what you're doing. And there are ways to come to that fairly early on, and it shouldn't be left for years and years and years really. It shouldn't be, although we do sort of work from the centre out. This is the one instrument where on any other instrument, within a few weeks, playing something like other than in 1st position, is a difficult thing to do on this, isn't it? Alright, or people think that it is. Alright, so you need to get a good foundation structure together as early as possible. The first thing to do is learn the cycle of 5ths. I tell everybody this and few people do it, but just learn it off by heart. It doesn't take you long. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C. That's if you're going 4th one way and 5th the other. I always like to go around that way rather than that way. Maybe because I'm ambidextrous, I don't know, or I'm more left than right, but doesn't matter. But it needs to be second nature in your head, because that makes this a lot easier to move and shift around. Okay, if you're working on bends or something like that, I have a little technique for you to work into the bend that gives it musicality. Now musicality, that's something that you should apply to when you're working on trying to get a bend if you can't get it. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's an individualistic thing. You can't really get it off seeing a set thing that someone's showing. If you're with a coach, they should be able to pin you down and show you this fairly early. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, you need to start moving into different keys, and you need to start working on this early doors as well as when you've been playing a long while. You need to, and I would start, that's just 2 draw to 6 blow, okay? Or 1 draw to 4 draw. Start doing octaves 1 to 1 and just drop them through one note to another. Alright? It's all about gaining facility, alright? So that you can play in other positions. You don't want to be staying in one situation forever. And also, one thing that I show on the way is how to deal with your harmonicas and how to set them up. Alright, you need to be in a situation where, so when you're playing your 7 overdraw at the top, it's got speed, yeah, and that is a more difficult note to hit, but I have techniques for that I can show people how to do it. Alright, because you will need that flat 5, well I think you'll need that flat 5 up there. You can get it obviously down below in 4 draw bend and 1 draw bend. That's there, isn't it? That's easy enough for a guy that's been playing for a short while, but you need to have facility at the top. I mentioned the cycle of 5ths. Why is it important to learn the cycle of 5ths? Well, there's a million reasons why you need to know it, okay? But you need to know, for example, that if I say to you you're in 3rd position, right? And you're playing a 5 overblow in 3rd position on a C harp, what note is that? You should automatically know that it is an F sharp. and if I switch to an A harmonica, right, and we're playing in third position, okay, what that third note is on the overblow. Alright, I won't give you the answer straight off, but these are things that should be automatic. There should be automatics here. Now you can make them automatic if you learn that cycle of fifths, because there's so many variants and so many ways and parameters to find things. I mean, I've been a jazz saxophonist and I'm a guitarist, and I play a lot of different instruments, and you use all your ways of doing things to express yourself and do things a certain way. If you're an out and out harmonica player and you don't read or anything, that is absolutely fine. You can take it all the way, but you need to have a facility and a way of being able to see these things and know them quickly. And I have techniques that I show for people. Having said that, out of all the people I've ever shown this to, less than 10% of people do it, but it's the less than 10% that go all the way. Alright, because it's so important, that circle of fifths. People show it online, but they don't show you why. They show you certain things, but you need to know all these things. So that, for example, if you want to know what a major seventh is in third position, on a C harp again, at the top, which would appear as a 7 overdraw, for example, okay, what note would that be? Well, in this case, it will be a C sharp or D flat, yeah? So, but this is simple because I'm doing it with the C harmonica. But you need to know it, and it needs to be quick. Although you learn everything as if it is on a C harmonica, you need to get to a stage where you can convert and transpose it in your head. Now, as a jazz saxophonist, we do that all the time. Even when I was a young man playing in sessions in the studio, you'd have to have harmonies where they'd only write out the concert parts, and with the horn sections you'd have to then just you'd have to transpose at sight and just play in order to create horn parts. Nothing too tricky, but these are things that you basically had to do. Okay, now it's not tricky for this, it's fun if you get stuck into it. It's just like I play a lot of chess. It's like playing chess, you know. There's different ways that you learn things. There's method learning and there's approach learning. I show everybody approach learning, which is a much more, I think, fun and interesting way to learn than method learning. Okay, but everybody learns differently, and that is the key to everything. Because, you know, you get this. Alright, so sooner rather than later, you need to be moving everything into every key. So you could start with like 2 draw to 3 draw half step, which after a little while everybody's doing. That's one of the first things you learn in second position, isn't it? So, first position, same thing, 1 to 4 overblow, okay? Or if you can't do it there, do it in a part of the harmonica that you can do it in, alright? Okay, you immediately shift it to other keys, and the way that the definitive way of approach should be, in my view, chromatic, although you can work around the circle of fifths, alright, that I mentioned earlier. Alright, so there's a few tips. Might be a little bit much for some people to hear that straight off, but it's the quickest and the most enjoyable way once you get into something. Now, I show a way of getting into the harps to set them up a little bit better. You don't need to spend an awful lot of money on harps to kick off with. You just need to be with somebody that knows what they're doing, alright? Don't throw money at the wall for no reason. There's no point, I always say. Okay, the other thing as well, if you're into getting into mics and stuff like that, mics for example, you know, bullet mics, you'll find that every amplifier is different. Every harmonica mic is, to a point, different. Alright, and when you upload things on YouTube, they take a lot away of the volume sometimes. They take a lot of spill out of the thing, you know. Sometimes it doesn't sound the way that you thought it was going to sound. And what you set up for YouTube and what you set up on a live gig is completely different. and this game's a minefield, really. You've just got to find out. I prefer. I mean, my favourite one is what they call a silver bullet, British make. But these are great. You know, all the bullet mics are good. That's kind of what I go for. Some people who want to play with a clean sound will go down the 57 routes and all that sort of those other ones. I can't remember what they call them, but for the cleaner sounds. But it is a minefield. That is a minefield going down that track, and you have to be aware of it. Don't jump in and get into mics too early, because you'll just waste money and time, because it's putting one to another is a bit of a minefield. Okay, so that's my little rant for today. Get into learning, if nothing else, learn the cycle of fifths to start with. And then just when you attack a phrase in your second position or your third position or whatever, think about moving it somewhere else. Alright? And then this throws up the question of being able to play all the notes on the harmonica, which you should be able to do not too long if you get with the right person. Alright? And that is crucial, to get these things under your belt as soon as possible. And have fun along the way, hopefully. Alright, you can get me for lessons on Harpo the Healer Wicks. Keep harping, keep out there, keep playing. There's not many of us, so we've all got to stick together, right? I'll catch you on the rebound.